Hi everyone, Josh Knight the First here with some exciting news to bring you straight from Japan. Now, a lot of you know that I'm not very much of a gamer. I play my certain selection of games and I'm fine with that. But one thing I am for certain is a fan of tokusatsu. So you can imagine that just a little while ago when the news broke about this new collaboration with Final Fantasy XIV, I was ecstatic and I still am right now. I can't believe that this game that I've played a little of and have enjoyed is going to have a crossover with the tokusatsu series GARO. Now, many of you have probably at least heard of Final Fantasy. Some of you might be playing the most recent game that just came out, or have watched several live streams of the game over on YouTube. But I'm willing to bet that most of you out there who aren't inherently already familiar with tokusatsu know even less or anything at all about what GARO is. I myself have actually been trying to do a video like this for some time now, and this just gave me the perfect reason to do it, so here we go. Now, for a lot of people, tokusatsu isn't a term that they're normally acquainted with. For those who know a little bit more, they're usually familiar with the big three franchises, which would be Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman. Now, while these series have been going on for decades and have quite a rich history, in some ways they can leave fans of the genre wanting. These shows are very much geared toward a young audience. They're designed to be shown Sunday mornings for kids to buy toys and just enjoy themselves. But over the last several years, some fans of the genre have been asking for something a little bit more geared toward their adult tastes. You may like the idea of a special effects hero fighting villains and monsters every week, but what if the show was actually darker, scarier, and not so simplistically designed? Well folks, that's where GARO comes in. Originally airing in the fall of 2005, GARO sought to redefine tokusatsu by going against a lot of the general concepts of what most people recognize tokusatsu for. For starters, rather than airing early Sunday mornings for kids, this show was aired late at night on TV Tokyo and was billed at the time as the hyper midnight action drama. Creator and director Keita Amemiya, who is known for his work on Kamen Rider Z-O, as well as work on the Onimusha franchise and Shin Megami Tensei 4, created a world that started small and has grown by leaps and bounds over the last 10 years. So what is GARO about? In its simplest form, the story of GARO is about the eternal battle between good and evil. The opening of each episode of the first season reminds you of this, in English no less.
Where there is light, shadows lurk and fear reigns. Yet by the blade of night, mankind was given hope.
In a world very similar to our own, darkness looms around every corner, and ancient wars being fought in the shadows with the general public unaware. In this world, people who have given over to their worst desires are being possessed by creatures called horrors. Demonic, ghoulish creatures that can kill a person and mimic their likeness. If left unchecked, the horrors would be capable of destroying our world and have been such a threat for centuries. The only things standing in their way are groups of dedicated individuals known as Makai Knights, the most legendary of them bearing the title of GARO. In its first season, the story follows the adventures of the current possessor of the golden armor, Koga Saejima, a stoic, focused young man who had the title passed down from his father and has taken up the family business of finding and defeating horrors. Throughout his journey, he's assisted by Makai priests, who are the shamans of the series and provide gear and support magic to the Makai Knights on their missions. As a Makai Knight, Koga is able to call upon the legendary golden armor for only 99.9 seconds. If the armor is worn beyond that, it threatens to consume him, as it is actually made out of the corpses of defeated horrors. Throughout that first season, Koga, who has his trusty butler Gonza by his side, saves the life of burgeoning young artist Kaoru, and comes to odds with rival Makai Knight Rei, who bears the title of Zero, the Silver Knight, as they both seek to find answers to the dark force that seems to unite all three of their destinies. One of the many great things about this series is that there's something in it for everyone. If you're a fan of design, the armor of the Makai Knights, the outfits of the Makai priests, and the grotesque, almost nightmarish look of the horrors, which were designed by Yasushi Nirasawa, is absolutely something to be admired. If you're into action, the show is jam-packed with it, with the first season alone having some very impressive stunt and wire work, with a good chunk of the cast electing to do their own stunts. If you prefer your stories dark, the show can be very much described as a gothic take on the traditional transforming hero genre. The show does not shy away from death, language, and sometimes partial nudity throughout. Heck, to be completely honest, in the first 5 minutes of the first episode you get boobs, but that's besides the point. And lest we forget, each and every major entry into the franchise has a theme song performed by anime vocal supergroup Jam Project, who some of you might know from the opening of One Punch Man this past year. It helps when one of your lead singers is one of the main support characters that shows up in every iteration of the show, the sentient enchanted ring Zaruba. After the first season, there was a special released in 2 parts called GARO, Beast of the Midnight Sun, And then for a very long time, about 4 years, there wasn't a peep out of the property. Then, in 2010, another film entitled GARO Red Requiem was released in 3D, which then gave way to the greenlighting of GARO's second season, entitled Makai Senki. From then on to the current day, new GARO projects are being announced constantly in Japan, ranging from new seasons revolving around different bearers of the golden armor, stories focused on the Makai priests and side characters, and currently 2 different anime adaptations just within the last 3 years, with more seasons on the way. Personally, as a fan of the series for 10 years, I can't begin to tell you guys how happy I am that people over here in the States are going to finally get exposure to this awesome series. What makes things even better, though, is that Kraken Releasing just licensed the original series for North American distribution, so you look at that, the timing is nothing short of perfect. Thanks to the grand scale that the world of GARO has reached over the last decade, I think that it fits with the current aesthetic of Final Fantasy XIV and complements it quite well. I'm willing to bet you'll see fans of both properties begin to get interested in the other with this new collaborative event. So to fans of GARO at large already, now's a pretty good time to get yourself a copy of Final Fantasy XIV because it looks like we're finally going to be able to don that soul armor we've always dreamed of. And to fans of Final Fantasy XIV who are just learning about the series and might be enchanted by the designs, I absolutely implore you guys to check this series out. I understand that the series may not be for everyone's taste, but I absolutely believe based on its merits in design, storytelling, and entertainment, it's absolutely worth your time, so please check it out. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this crossover event in the comments below, or over on Twitter. I'm at Josh Knight First. I'll see you guys in Eorzea.